Good evening, people. I love you guys. I hope that this is going to help let you in my life. I do all this just for Jesus. You know what I mean? It's not me. If it was me, I would still be a train wreck, waiting to make another train wreck, to wait and make another train wreck until I died. Thank God He brought me back to life and gave me an opportunity to change my life and follow Him, which has been a blessing beyond disguise. Like I couldn't even imagine how my life is today and what I've been going through. That's why I document everything, not for nothing more than God's glory and the love that He has shown me and put in my heart. I stand on the rock today. So that being said, this is part 3 of Who Am I? So basically, we stopped with the Richards. I was 15, 16, 17 years old, making a lot of money, spending all the money on drugs and stuff like that, running the streets. This time I had quit school a long time ago. I didn't go ever. So it was just, and it just never got my mom in trouble. Thank God, because that was already would have been another stress on the lady. But so I had no education, couldn't read or write, and but I had learned some trades. Even though I was in my addiction, like heavy, like real heavy. You're talking. I'd already been doing the hard stuff since I was about, I think, 12 or 13. I started doing cocaine. I'm just had to label it a little bit so people could understand. And then later on in the 80s, something came out because we started from snorting to freebasing, and from there, crack came out, and it was on the corner everywhere. It was cheap, $10 you go get whatever. So it took over the 80s, man. It was crazy. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, especially for an addict. So that was the story of my life for a long time. But I was about 17 years old, and I remember I kept getting in trouble, whatever, and my mom would always come get me. God bless her soul. She always loved me. She always tried to guide me and protect me. Prayed a lot of times for me, a lot of times. But so anyways, I remember the cops kept saying, "Oh, we're going to get you one day. You're going to go with us." I was like, "Yeah, well, whatever." I didn't hear none of that. I didn't believe in nothing that was healthy. I never listened to nobody. I was ignorant, and I didn't care, and I was full blast, and I was a child in a teenager's body, becoming a man, which wasn't even really being a man, So I was still a little child with just a figure of a man. So anyways, 17, got into some trouble. They ended up taking me to Morgan Street, which was central booking back in the day. Terrible jail, Tampa, Florida, Morgan Street. Rats, people everywhere. It was just crazy. And so they throw you in this little jail cell, and it's got a bunch of people all over the place. People puking on themselves. There's male prostitutes in there. There's all kinds of whatever you can imagine. The mix of people. They're all being arrested and thrown in there. And then you go to pee court in the morning. Well, so that was my first taste of jail. And then wasn't long till like right after I was like a little after 18, I got out of that trouble. God see me through it again, but I just ignored it, and I ended up doing some time in Morgan Street about 17. Oh, I was about 18, 19 years old. I did about 9 months or 8 months in there, something like that, and then they started taking me when I go to jail because I was going to jail a lot. Now I was breaking the law, didn't care. I already got a taste of it. It wasn't really nothing to me. You know what I mean? It was like a little break. It saved my life most of the times. I didn't see it like that, but anyways, you know, I was just in and out of jail a lot, man. I did a lot of time in Morgan Street, most of the time in Stockade, which was off of Del Mabry in Tampa, Florida. It was called the Thunderdome. No AC, big wing cells, and way down. I mean, they would put you in a cell, and there'd be like 24 people in there, and they never came to see if you were okay. They just walked the wing like every 4 hours or something like that. I don't even know, and it was crazy. But I adapted because I was so used to getting around older people. I knew how to handle myself in some ways. I mean, I wasn't no bad bone dude. I didn't really have no fight game, but I had a personality that could adapt to people. You know what I mean? I always learned that when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I always took to people real easy, and it was easy to mold myself to whatever they were doing or however they act. So, anyways, I'd get in there, work out. I had this. I remember it was a black dude from Miami and another black dude from Tampa, and they would work out, man. And I got in there, worked out, started learning how to build a little muscle. Not much, but just a little exercise. Anyways, long story short, it was crazy, man. A crazy life. In and out of jails my whole life. I was about 21, 22. I think I was 21 or something, and I ended up going to prison for the first time. A bunch of trouble again. God seen me through it again. Went to prison, got out, right back to the same stuff. The second time I went to prison and then got out, I met this girl, and Her name was Heidi. She actually, I knew her for a long time in my neighborhood, and you know, we got together. She was run away from her mom, and her uncle was a best friend of mine. He was AWOL from the army a bunch of times. Crazy life, just crazy. But anyways, you know, we ended up getting together, and we got her pregnant. So then she had a baby boy named, and we named him Christopher Anthony Reed. A blessing in my life, and I didn't even know it. You know, you would think that somewhere in this midst of all this craziness and mayhem and chaos, go figure, I would think and stop and see the beauty of what was going on in my life, because I didn't have a family, and I could have had that for once and built it, but instead I just tore it down even more, you know, with my addiction and my self-centeredness and all my other stuff deep rooted in the heart. It's so true. Stuff in the dark grows, and it grows so deeply rooted. It's evil, and the only person and the only thing or anything that can take it out is Jesus. But anyways, so